Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We're on Love 99.5 FM. Together with over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, we're on Dreams FM in Bolgatanga, Jubilee Radio in Keta, Lonlonyo FM in Hohoi. We're on Radio Waiwa, ATL FM in Cape Coast. You can go digital. It's Spotify, Facebook, and myjoyonline.com app. This afternoon, there are concerns about the country's handling of mental health conditions as Auditor General cites inadequate and erratic supply of crucial medicines as a major challenge.
They can use anything to hit us because nowadays they are dangerous for us.
You see, walking in the town and then be wounding people, they'll be chasing us here all the time.
I have details plus here from the Mental Health Authority on this. Also this afternoon, Ghana Health Service insists Ghana COVID-19 vaccination drive is still on course despite Ashanti Region Health Directorate reporting expiration of vaccines due to public hesitancy.
I think that we are on course, and as much as possible, we are trying to make sure that the Ghanaian we hopefully will get for the 20 million somewhere next month.
Lands and Natural Resources Minister pursues amicable resolution in case in which Australian mining firm is suing Ghana for 300.
I think we're going to go through the process. When all is said and done, the most important thing is that we go through it in a manner which is fair, which is just, which is transparent, and which is professional.
We have details from a meeting in Australia today. In politics, former NDC national organizer Yao Boating-Jan says the party must allow Dr. Kobna.
That people are hiding.
We have details of that in sports.
But we'll bring you up to speed on Mubarak Wakasu, Babaraman, and other top Ghanaian players who made crucial moves ahead of the World Cup before the major European League transfer window closed.
And later in the bulletin, we get to experience an one-cast play that tells a story about love, death, and human relationships.
My husband's purpose for coming on this earth was to speak big Yefugbe. Ibi Yefugbe will go chop.
I have that and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. We are your home of in-depth of mental health case shows, a disturbing trend. Topmost is the inadequate and erratic supply of medicine needed to improve the conditions of patients. These are medicines that the Mental Health Authority are to make available to mental health facilities. The report notes that this situation forced caregivers to require patients to buy drugs, even though the Mental Health Act makes such treatment free. The state of the sector and the need for effective treatment became topical after a mentally challenged woman allegedly killed a man here in Accra.
The life of a young man was snuffed out by a mentally challenged woman. Some of the people we've been speaking to here tell us that before that particular incident, they had lived harmoniously with people they consider as mentally challenged here within this enclave. They say that Monday's incident is a rude awakening that they are sitting very close and mingling with a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, he threatened to hit the car with stone, but I refer to support my car because of the way the woman is doing. I'm afraid. So I left the car and sacked the woman away from my car. By 30 minutes time, I hear said there's something happening around the rooftop. So I'm surprised. So nowadays we are afraid of mad women. We are afraid of any mad person around. We need our government to help us to keep all the mad people around the country, to check them well, because sometimes they are dangerous. They can use anything to hit us, because nowadays they are dangerous for us. You see, they are dangerous for us.
Samuel Mensah also works at this bus terminal here at Circle. He tells me that every dawn when they come to work, some of them are chased by mentally challenged people. He says some of these mentally challenged persons use the bus terminal as their home.
Mr. Big's bus stop here, a madman has completely taken the place. He sees the place, he's sleeping there, does everything over there, and no one can go there. If you go there right now, you see him there. A young man, you see, walking in the town and then be wounded.
Maxwell Agbagba's report. Well, let's get into the Auditor General's report. Joseph Akable is with our research desk. He joins us in studio with more on this. Let's first talk about the situation in the key health facilities, Joseph.
And so first, if you pick a facility like the Accra Psychiatric Hospital in 2016, they made a request for 46 medication. They got none of that, zero. In 2017, 54, they got where a request of 36 was made in 2016, got 6, 37, they got nothing in 2016. In 2018, 16, they got nothing. 2019, they didn't make any specific requests, but they managed to get 39. And so at Ankafo, the situation is not any different there, where the numbers are also quite low in terms of the request and what they get eventually.
And there's a human resource challenge as well.
Yes, in terms of the total number of in terms of these professionals, to just 7. At the Pantai Hospital, it comes to a total of 6. Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital, just 3. Kolebu, a bit higher, 13. Komfanochi Teaching Hospital, 8. And the Tamale Teaching Hospital, just 1. At the whole teaching hospital, just 2. So across the country, in terms of clinical psychologists, psychiatrists, and occupational therapists, at these main facilities, we have just a total of 40.
And do we have an idea of how many mental health cases we have in the country?
Yes, in terms of population suffering from different mental disorders, we are looking at a little over 4 million. Those who suffer from severe mental disorder, 924,000, and moderate mental disorder, we are looking at 3 million. Additionally, the World Health Organization estimates that 41% of the country's population suffer different forms of psychological distress. And
we have a response from the Mental Health Authority on this.
The Mental Health Authority, in terms of the engagement with the Auditor General's Office, agreed with these concerns that were raised, specifically on the staff strength. Management agrees with audit findings that there have been shortages on the drugs specifically. There have been shortages and erratic supply of psychotropic medicines for the treatment of mental health conditions. They just had a problem with how it had been characterized. But in terms of what is accounting for that, they point out funding constraints, saying that the levies that are supposed to bring in some funds is not helping them get enough to be able to procure these drugs.
So that's their response captured by the Auditor General.
Yes.
We had a follow-up with them. We've been speaking to the Executive Director, Humphrey Kofi, with the Mental Health Authority. Thank you very much, Joseph.
Mental health law, it is the same policy that has extended to the law itself, that is Act 846, saying same. But then when you go to these facilities, the medicines are not there. We ask the question, is this a procurement, is this a cycle of procurement, or is it that we are not able to project how many of which medications we need at a point in time? That is causing the shortage, because this shortage has been perennial. I mean, we have made several proposals through the Ministry of Health. That one, we can put some small margin of tax on alcohol, cigarettes, etc. Specifically, some of these things. Or we can create a system where the rich will contribute towards mental health. Because there should be a way which is very sustainable, which will avoid a situation where there is frequent shortage of medication. Because look, if we sit down as mental health cases are rising, and we do nothing about funding, and we do nothing about provision of psychotropics, then the country should be looking towards a large number of people who will be on the streets, because already the numbers are increasing.
That's the Executive Director of the Mental Health Authority, Humphrey Kofi there. Let me bring in clinical psychologist Ako Hefron. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So we've heard from the Auditor General the report. It appears that we just don't pay attention to mental health in this country. What really is the difficulty?
Well, I think that to a large extent, our problem is that we think of mental health as being people with psychiatric problems, mental system. And therefore, we need to be able to take good care of ourselves. Now, in this case, with the case of the Auditor General's report, what it is referring to is the psychiatric drugs. Now, we need to be able to do a better assessment of get enough of these drugs to take care of them in a bid to prevent the shortages that come up from time to time, because like it's been said, it's a perennial problem, and there's a need to do something about it. Too many psychiatric problems around.
How close are we all, though, to developing serious mental health issues?
Well, to a large extent, like I said, mental health is different from psychiatric problems. So if we want to talk about mental health, then that one we have a different issue and a different crop of problems. If we want to talk about psychiatry,
well, it appears that we've lost Madame Ako Hefron there on the phone. She's a clinical psychologist. That conversation will continue on the Joy News channel, on the Pulse with Blessed Suga at 3 p.m. We'll stay on health, and the Ghana Health Service says Ghana's COVID-19 vaccination. We'll hear from the health service shortly, but first, correspondent Nanaya Ojima captures the situation in the region.
Ideally, no vaccine should expire because we don't have any reason. The vaccines are so expensive. So even if one vial expires, it's a concern because you know how much it costs to produce a vaccine. So for me, it's not the quantum, but the fact that we are not expecting even one for the vaccination before you can say that at least we've achieved that herd immunity, which will prevent a further outbreak. But we've not gotten there, despite the fact that the government has given us all the resources. We have the vaccines, we have the human resource, we have the equipment, we have the logistics. I think the major challenge is that of vaccine hesitancy, because there has been a lot of misconception, fear, and then myth surrounding the vaccination.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
We can now hear from the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bekwing.
I would say it's a bit of slow and at times it picks up. So we design a number of strategies, make sure that we get Ghanaians vaccinated. I think that we are, of course, I can't speak offhand how many vaccines have expired, but it's not in millions. Hopefully, we will get a campaign done next month. What we are doing is that we are using two strategies. We are using the campaign and the routine. So now you can just walk into any government facility any time of the day, and then you get vaccinated. And then once in a month, we do a campaign whereby we do close to for the 20 million somewhere next month.
That's the Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Asiedu-Bekwing. Now, the Economic and Organised Crime Office, EOCO, has been directed to take over investigations into alleged evasion of tax by some companies at the Tema Shipping Yard, following Joy News' latest expose, Frozen Tax. The documentary uncovered how some frozen food companies falsified the contents of their containers that led to underpayment of taxes up to the tune of 4.6 million Bamba.
The same people who came in through political appointments have their children as clearing agents who are using exemptions to clear goods. Is that not conflict of interest? Tell me.
The accusation by the staff of the Ghana Revenue Authority struck a chord with me on August 1, 2019, in a sting operation after the launch of Operation Collect, Name and Shame. A team from the Customs Staff Association and two other labor unions stormed the premises of La Bianca Company Limited. The objective was to verify the contents of 72 40-footer containers at their premises, following a tip-off that the companies involved have given false information to customs officials.
Yes. No, this is a full chicken. That's a full chicken.
After hours of search, the team found out that the frozen food companies have concealed boxes of full chicken instead of sardinella fish they had stated on their declaration form.
There's the latest development to this, and Joy News editor Fred Smith joins me in studio. What are we learning, Fred?
Well, we understand EOCO officials have launched investigation into the issues raised in the Joy News expose by Latif Idris already, and our sources say the companies will be required to submit responses Serial has obtained. Ultimately, EOCO will seek to recover every personal loss to the state from the individuals and companies involved in the
pursuing an amicable resolution in the case in which an Australian mining firm is suing Ghana for $395 million in a London court. The firm, Cassius of Gold from its concession, Cassius and Shanzi Mining Company operate opposite each other in Talensi, where they both have concessions. So Cassius accuses Shanzi of trespassing on its concession while alleging that previous ministers and the Minerals Commission failed to act despite several petitions. Today, in the Australian state of Perth, the sector minister met with the executive or the chief executive of Cassius Mining Company, James Akodis, as part
of this meeting with Cassius because of the very serious nature of the allegations which have been made. And, I should say that we had a very good meeting, very productive meeting. We've issued a statement arising out of that meeting, committing to dialogue a lot more and further engage with a view of achieving an amicable resolution of the issues in controversy. And I think that is the major first step forward. We are committed to the process. I'm also scheduled to meet Shanzi Company Limited, which is the company in Ghana and at the center of some of these allegations. But I think I should just make the point on this matter, that when all is said and done, the most important thing is that which can stand the test of time and which can stand any international or whatever scrutiny. For me, that is what is important. And I made that abundantly clear to Cassius, that we're not going to swallow their rendition or their line and sinker. We're going to go through a very methodical, time-tested, professional process to first of all assemble the facts, what happened, and then also the implications that arise, endeavors and efforts. We are unable to resolve it, and I don't want that to be the situation, but.
Lands and Natural Resources Minister Abu Samuel Jinapo there, speaking to my colleague Evan Spencer all the way in Australia. Well, we stay on mining-related issues and some resident miners. The present situation, they believe, can lead to the collapse of the mine, which has a negative effect on the local economy. Leader of Apiening Bonsek Fan Club, Anthony Kofi Nature, explains similar incidents led to closure of the mine in 2014. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
Last month, a video in circulation showed some suspected illegal miners being arrested for invading pits of the Anglo-Good Ashanti Obuasi mine. Love News checks reveal such incidents are recurrent.
As we speak, reports that are coming up indicate that some of the miners have begun going, using unapproved routes into the operational areas of Anglo-Good Ashanti. And as citizens who have gotten to know the consequences of the collapse of the mine, and we think that it is important that now that some intruders have started again, and we foresee that this can also lead to the collapse of the mine, and it is also reducing the investor confidence. We think it is important that we notify our able leaders like His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President, and then the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu.
In recent times, residents of Obuasi have held a series of demonstrations over the unemployment situation in the area. There have been calls for the Anglo-Good Ashanti to cede part of its concession to small-scale miners to deal with unemployment.
That's Nanaya Ojima's report, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News. Live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, also in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. We've been taking a look about the concerns about the country's handling of mental health conditions as Auditor General cites inadequate and erratic supply of crucial must allow Dr. Kwabena Dufo to continue with the implementation of the Ahonto project.
Why are we now trying to raise this now? Why? Is there anything that people are hiding?
And later we get to experience a one-cast play that tells a story.
I bet you thought you've seen it all. You must have thought you've watched it all. Gomorrah is a new exciting series about the conflict that rises between the wealthy and the poor. Watch Gomorrah exclusively on Aquaba Magic, DSTV channel 150, Go TV channel 101, and Aquaba Magic Ebusian, DSTV channel 149, and Go TV channel 108. With as little as 50 Ghana cedis on DS.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Musbao, what do we have?
Well, the transfer window in the major European leagues closed yesterday with a number of Ghanaian to Serbian giants Red Star Belgrade from FC Sheriff Tiraspol in Moldova. Centre-back Abdul Mumin also joined Spanish side Rayo Vallecano on a 4-year deal from Vitória de Guimarães in Portugal. Left-back Babaraman also made a return to championship side Reading on a season-long loan from Chelsea League side Shenzhen FC. Okasu hopes to gain match fitness before Ghana coach Otto Addo names his squad for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar.
Thank you very much, Musbah, for the latest from the world of sports. And a good show there last night on the countdown.
Thank you. It was all over the place.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Great.
Still trending. Now, let's do some politics. And the former NDC national organizer, Yao Boatinjan, says the party must allow Dr. Kwabena Dufo to continue with the implementation of Yahoto project. The project has been criticized by some national officers, including General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who claims appropriate party structures are not being used. But Mr. Jan believes the project is in the interest of the party and must be allowed to continue.
He has been helping the party. It is not today that some of these things are coming up. So our worry was that why are we now trying to raise issues? Now, why? Is there anything that people are hiding behind and now trying to say that, look, we will not accept you going around to, distribute these items and that we need to get somebody else to do it. We are now saying that we are all party members. Let us all come together and sit down and see to it that the beneficiaries get these items and run it effectively and use it to run their political activities at the grassroots. Some of us have been in this party for a very long time and we've seen the difficulties those people encounter when it comes to, running their activities. So it is a welcome news to all of us that somebody is giving us these items worth about 30,000 Ghana cedis. He did not mention per constituency. He did not mention the cost of the items.
That's the former national organizer of the NDC, Yao Boatinjan. Now, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission is slamming the University of Ghana and Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology for blaming them for running unaccredited programs. The two schools were cited by the Auditor General for running more than 600 programs, and the schools have claimed they have applied for renewal, but GTEC's administration lapses have delayed the accreditation. Speaking to Joy News, Director General of the Commission, Professor Mohammed Salifu, says they are not to blame.
Some of them issues at GTEC for it. So they should stop the blame game. We have pointed out to them that they have done things that are not in accordance with the law. They accept it. So let's stop the blame game and let's deal with the issues. The law is very explicit.
That's the Executive Director of GTEC, Professor Salifu there. It's time for our Drive Safe campaign. And road safety advocates continue to entreat the government to dualize the country's highways as one of the surest ways to reduce road fatalities. The National Road Safety Authority and the Building and Road Research Institute of the CSIR observe the majority of road crashes can be averted if the country's
recorded a reduction in road fatalities from 1,706 in the half year in 2021 to 1,443 in 2022. This means deaths associated with road crashes reduced by 16% in the half year compared to figures recorded in the same period last year. The period also saw a marginal reduction in the number of reported cases from 16,226 in 2021 to 15,239 in 2022. Acting Director General of NRSA, David Osafo Adontin.
We have recorded reductions in the crashes itself, reductions in the injuries, reduction compared to the previous year.
That's our Drive Safe campaign. And it's the first weekend of September. Tells me that your wallet is also loaded, but maybe you have no plans. Worry not. Guess who's back to tell you how to chop your money? Ma Pizzo Sebidi in the studio, y'all.
Please, you need to say it correctly.
International woman.
The
international industry player. Thank you very much. Emefa, while Joy Entertainment has partnered with Ghanaian playwright Latif Abubakar, who has partnered with the Spanish Embassy to put Ghana's theatre industry on the world stage with an adaptation of one of the best and most popular Spanish novels, 5 Hours with Mario. Now, this is a one-cast play, and it is played by Na Ashoko. Here's a sneak peek.
My husband's purpose for coming on this earth was to speak big Yevugbe. When your friends were aspiring to be doctors, lawyers, pilots, engineers, my husband chose to be a teacher. A teacher.
Star 447 star 1092 hash to buy via your phone with all networks. I'll repeat that for you. It's star 447 star 1092 hash, or you can visit Joy FM, Airport Shah, and Bachona Total.
Mapizzo Sividi.
The international entertainment industry player.
Mapizzo Sividi.
That is right. Mebao Malandi.
And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com, and $2 million spent on $3 billion SkyTrain project, but feasibility studies inconclusive. That's the Auditor General. Also, free SHS policy is not a Kofado's property, Dr. Park, and there have been lapses with accreditation, but numbers are not that high. That and more, myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Stay safe this weekend. There's Living Word with Pastor Menzo Tabel. Have a good afternoon.